This is a drama review of two dramas combined together because they're based on the same book. 周生如故 / 一生一世. Hi, you're watching Avenue X, where junkie and good storytelling shares their thoughts, knowledge, and occasional weird ideas on stories and how they're told. 周生如故一生一世 has both finished airing on the platform 爱奇艺. It is based on a book written by the author 墨宝非宝 called 一生一世美人故, which is a contemporary setting romantic story featuring the main couple. One of them in this lifetime do remember what happened last time. The other one was unaware of it. They meet again, and this time they were able to have a happy ending. This book was written back in 2014, rather long time ago. As I'm making this video right now, I couldn't sit through both of them fully, but I did watch over half of each. For the period setting drama, I watched up to episode 12, and then I checked the last two. For the contemporary setting drama, I watched up to episode 18, then I checked out the last two episodes. So for both dramas, I kind of skipped about 10 episodes, but still got a gist of what happens in this whole story. First, I'll give these two dramas a score on my 7-level scale, and I'll give it 1 good mark for both. If you're watching those two dramas back to back, the period setting one has a better production quality. The visual as a drama production is stronger than the contemporary one. On the other hand, the contemporary story is much less painful to watch in terms of just how effed up our main characters got to be. So I would say they each have certain advantages over the other, depending on what kind of audience you are, and they're both led by two same people. On the positive end of things, I'll combine these two dramas, and on the negative end, I'll talk about each of their problems and why I couldn't sit through the full length of either drama. On the good side, it's led by two people who are very pleasant to watch on screen. For screen couple, a man and a woman, sometimes it just feels like they're supposed to be a couple, sometimes it just doesn't work like that. I think luckily for the casting choices, Bai Lu and Ren Jialun really worked for the story, for both the period and the contemporary story. The second thing is also to do with them, but it's more on the acting end. I think they both did a very good job for 2 roles each, really, because reincarnation version of the period drama characters are slightly different in terms of their characters' personalities, and obviously living at a different time, different society, people will have very different behaviors. But for both settings, the period and the contemporary, they did very good job portraying their characters. Whatever is written on the script for them, they as actors and actresses really did a good job of making that actualized, realized on screen. So if you happen to be a fan of either of them or both of them, there's nothing after watching it that will change your good opinion about them. Then I'll talk about why individually neither of them could make me just sit through them fully. For the period setting drama 周生如故, which is a tragic romance between a general and aristocratic lady. The most significant problems, I think, that hindered my enjoyment of this story is the conflict between the vibe that the drama is trying to give me, which is serious, historical, but not really being specific about a real part of Chinese history, but kind of implicating on what time that is. So that heavy, almost like a serious historical feel of things is in conflict with all the details that the writer put in terms of why people do the things they do, the behaviors, the motivations, how court politics works, look like it's written by people who do not really understand how the kind of political military structure works. So it's a lack of knowledge versus that serious tone of we really want to make it look like real history. That just makes it very unbelievable for me. Let me explain that in more detail. Although this drama changed a lot of the characters of people's names so that it doesn't implicate real families or powers in Chinese history, but you know, it's based on 魏晋南北朝. So I'm dressed in 魏晋南北朝 style, which is a mess in Chinese history to make it short. China was divided into the kind of northern south kingdoms. But then even in the north, there are different powers fighting against each other. The south, different powers fighting against each other. They fight between one tiny dynasty comes up and then gets destroyed by another. So a mess of time and a mess of history. During that period of time also, the so-called imperial or the king or emperor, however they claim themselves of an area, at the same time, there is a constant presence and very strong presence of power that comes from what we call 氏族, which after Tang Dynasty kind of died out in China. The more commoner rising up to the top of power through exams that's possible for Chinese people to achieve fully came after Song and after those dynasties. Before that, the presence of the clans of aristocrats are still rather powerful. And 魏晋南北朝 is very, very clan power based. So even if a place has a king or an emperor, not necessarily they are the most respected power. So with the story 周生如故, it is set in that kind of time, although it's not being 100% accurate to history, because I guess if it really claims to be, it wouldn't pass censorship. The female lead character, Cui Shiyi, Cui, for example, they changed the character slightly, but really, we all know it's based on the Cui family, real Cui, which is one of the major aristocrat families that are, in a way, posher than kings, really. With that setup, one big problem comes that just, as soon as the story starts to run, I'm like, yeah, I'm not buying it. The prince / general played by Ren Jialun, he is the royal power of that country. But because Cui family is the clan and often having hundreds and years of history behind it, it's very common actually during that period of time when the clan families look down upon the royal and imperial power because they think you do not have history, your family comes from no lineage. With that history knowledge in your head, you just can't quite deal with the fact that a military general prince can actually take a clan families and kind of the major trunk of the family, the only precious daughter, as a female student. The clan family of her family would not really consider him to be worth literally learning things from, because it's more like you royal families who fight and got the power should learn etiquette and culture from our aristocrats. I know, it's just me. If you do not know anything about those things, then it wouldn't be such a hindrance to your enjoyment. But unfortunately, I do know, so I can't quite get into it. Also, it has a lot of those scenes that are about powers, such as our male lead student, one of his student, soldier woman, talked about how poor he was when he was younger in his teenager years, got casted away to the border of the country and only having 30,000 well-trained soldiers following him. Have you read any military history? Period time, cold weapons time with iron and knives and sabers and that type of thing and horsepower. 30,000 well-trained soldiers. Wow. Nobody would consider that as a small army, okay? Especially if it's well-trained. When that detail comes up, I'm like, the scriptwriter has no idea about what they're talking about. Or they have that campfire scene at the male lead's military camp. And then there's a eunuch that comes from the imperial court that came to visit. They know this guy is on site, right? He's walking around at night. And they're having this open banquet. And again, it is the student of the male lead comes up and say, oh, our 师傅 has this bone structure that is 美人骨. That's the title of the original novel, and which is a beauty's bone. And it's so rare. It's rarer than an emperor's bone. And I'm like, okay, if you want to talk about that in private, when you know you're not like in public, just with your 师傅 in an enclosed space, that's fine. You're talking in front of how many people, public kind of place, and then the eunuch is walking around your side. He just came from the imperial court. Like, what? Why? Just say that out loud. Do you want your 师傅 to get killed or murdered or whatever? So these kind of things keep showing up in a period setting 周生如故 drama that otherwise gives you a very serious vibe about, for example, how polite and how people are careful about their postures and etiquette, and entire vibe is very serious historical. I know it's a romantic story, but you see, like, it just doesn't come together properly. It got a little bit too for me to keep watching, because I feel it's not researched, or the writer just do not know what they're talking about. Why don't you find somebody who knows what they're doing? Do it. Is there just nobody looking over the producer, director, the script, and just see like there are a lot of things that does not make sense? It kind of killed the drama for me. So that's why I stopped 周生如故, but I did go see the epic jumping off the city gate scene, because like you have to watch it, and it's well filmed. Then the contemporary version, 一生一世, one short sentence is, it is too bland and boring. It's just two good-looking people. They meet because they're fated, right? Immediately there's something going on, get engaged, and kind of didn't get married until the end, but everything just is so like a journal, like a bullet journal. Day 1, wake up at 8 a.m., ate this for breakfast, went out for a walk, meet this person. Like the entire drama feels like somebody wrote down everything that happens in their life. Overall, it's very mushy. Everything is just lukewarm, sweet, gentle, sustained. If you ever tried ketone diet and successfully got into the state of burning ketones instead of glucose of your body, you'll realize you suddenly become very stable. You don't have like a lot of emotional ups and downs. You don't feel suddenly dreadful or suddenly elated. You can sustain that very flat but efficient level of production throughout the day. I've tried it once and then decided not to do it for too long, but I did do it for a couple of months and I know exactly what it feels like. The drama reminds me of that. It's all good. Nothing big problems happening, but then nothing else happens either. So having 30 episodes for me is just too many hoops to jump through. For a story that hardly really progresses, it kind of just happens every day of their life together, all the details. I mean, some people may like it very much. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. I'm just saying personally, that's why I have to double speed certain parts, and then I just didn't want to watch the middle after 18, couldn't continue anymore, 10 episodes, until I got back to the last 2 episodes, just trying to see how they tie up the period, time setting, reincarnation story into the contemporary life. Did anyone feel just these two, Shi Yi and Zhou Shencheng, are so polite to each other? I just don't see how real lovers are always like that, just so gentle and so considerate and so polite to each other all the time, making me, again, not quite believing in their relationship. I really think the contemporary drama should not be named 一生一世. It should be named 有钱真好. It's so good when you're rich. In the original novel, the fact is contemporary Zhou Shencheng is so rich and powerful and clever and well-educated. It's even crazier than what the drama has done. The book setting is pretty ridiculous. It really feels like a high school or even middle school kid wrote a fantasy novel for their ideal man or whatever that just has the best setup possible in this world. Let's just say I am not a fan of setting up your main character as the best looking, the most clever, also happen to have incredible wealth. It's just so convenient and easy, because when you're that rich, you really just don't have problems almost in your life. Apart from somebody who want to take that wealth from you, okay, so that may be the problem. But everything else, if we have a problem, if we come across a difficulty, normal people probably will have to struggle, and then because of that, it has dramatic tension and funny things or interesting things happening. But for these two, because the guy is so rich, they can just snap the fingers and problems go away. Happily live our romantic relationship life. That will conclude my review on 周生如故 and 一生一世. I still think they're watchable dramas, and for certain audiences they would be very enjoyable. Acting part, really don't have a big problem with it. It mostly just is to do with the script itself, the pacing, the drama itself, really. Stories fail to make me believe in it. Hopefully it's been useful, or at least entertaining, or I don't know, whatever. Hopefully it hasn't raised your blood pressure too much. Thank you for watching Avenue X. I'll see you in my next video. Meanwhile, live long and happy drama watching.